All right, good morning, everybody. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat, please. We're going to get this party started. All right, good morning, good morning. All right, so if you guys, the main purpose of this consultation is there's a bunch of things we'll go over, but I spent a lot of time, money, and energy creating the best presentation to help you convert leads, retain the buyer, get the buyer to sign a BBRA with you, and also impress the buyer with your presentation, whether you're doing it digitally or if you're going to be doing it with a print job that we're going to send out too. So you can hand deliver this presentation or you can digitally give this presentation out. And just give me 1 sec. I'm going to get straightened out here and we'll get started. Hey, Trina. It's really great here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Welcome to the Fundamentals Factory. We're going to be going through the buyer consultation, how to control the conversation, build trust, and win over the clients. The what, why, how, now framework. Today's training is built around one goal, giving you guys the tools to run a world-class buyer consultation every single time. Now, the what. Today, we're learning how to present the buyer consultation, the most important meeting you'll have with any client. Why? Because the consultation is where you set expectations, build trust, eliminate competition, and control the deal before it starts. The how. We'll break down the presentation step by step, covering structure, delivery, and the key lines that convert buyers into committed clients. Now, you'll leave here knowing exactly how to run this with your very next buyer, no guessing and no winging it. Okay, the buyer consultation is a conversion meeting. And hold on 1 sec. I see some chats. I got to get this open. Can we make it a little bigger? Let me see if I can do that. So we can go into present. There you go, Raquel. If you guys got any more questions, go ahead and drop it in the chat for me. I got you covered. Let me just minimize this a little bit. Okay. So the what, why, how, now we were just going over. We're going to go over the buyer consultation is a conversion meeting. Okay. This is not a presentation. This is not just going over slides. This is a conversion meeting, and how to run it determines whether you win the buyer or you lose them to another agent. So what you have to do is position yourself as an expert. Whether you've done 1 million transactions or you haven't done any transactions at all, everything I'm talking about still applies today. Okay. So buyers are looking for someone who knows the market, and your consultation is your chance to demonstrate that mastery from the very first minute. You have to build confidence. When buyers see a clear, structured process, their anxiety drops and their trust rises. A confident system signals a confident agent. So show them why working with you wins. Buyers have a ton of choices. Your consultation must answer the unspoken question, why you? If you do this right, your buyer will never want to work with another agent. I want to talk to you guys real quick before I move onto the real slide. The real deal with buyers, and I'm going to give you a couple examples of what I've seen with agents and I've done along the years of myself. So let's say you're on a phone call with a buyer and you're trying to provide value and you don't really know how to do that or how to be confident, but you want to tell these buyers, hey, I want you to work with me because I'm a great agent. This is a great market, and I'm going to help you buy your forever home. And there's a ton of reasons why you should work with me. If you're on a phone call, it's really difficult for you to convey all the information we're going to show in this presentation today. The good thing is during that phone call or right after the phone call, you can download the presentation and just text it right over to that buyer and say, whether we're going to work now or whether we're going to work together later, here is my buyer presentation. This is everything I do for my clients. This is how I build trust and I deliver value. I don't want you to go work with 3 other agents. I want you to work with me. Okay, so that's a phone call and that's a text situation. What if you're at an open house? Okay, we got a bunch of people coming in and out of the open house. They may or may not have an agent with them, but what prevents you from handing out your buyer consultation and say, in the event you're looking for a real estate agent that knows everything about buying a home, read through this material. I want you to take a look at what I provide, how I provide it, and the value that goes along with it, right? We're using the presentation via text, via email, via handing out to clients right before they decide if they're going to work with somebody. Let's say you go on, let's say you get a Zillow Flex lead and you drive to the appointment and it's the first time you're meeting somebody. They don't know who you are. They don't know if they can trust you. They don't know if like you're some scam artist, right? But if you show up with this presentation and it's built around you and it shows everything that that buyer could need to build a journey, they're going to trust you just with that simple presentation. Now, I'll ask Trina right now, how many buyers agents go to a consultation with a presentation? Like on average, do you think it's 99% of agents or 1% of agents?
1%.
Less than 1% of agents bring a consultation package with them. 1% of the brokerages out here don't even have these presentations, or they're just old and nasty. This one was built with a coach. It was built with Claude AI. It was built with my brain, and it was put together for today's market and where it's going so that it's going to last a while and you can always edit it and make changes. Now, the reason I kind of stopped on this slide is to let you guys know whether you're having those initial conversations with the buyer or you're already ready to bring them into the office and sit them down and go through the presentation. This is going to convert that lead into a buyer that trusts you. And you don't have to go through every single page, but you got to frame it up that you're the master, you're the agent they should work with, and the presentation is to back you up and give you that confidence. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next slide, the core concept. So you're not selling homes. The real product. Agents who focus on showing homes are competing on inventory. Agents who lead with a strategy are competing on value, and value always wins. The home is the result, not the product. So what you're actually selling is the strategy, the clear, personalized game plan for finding and winning the right home. Certainty. Here's the confidence. Here's the clarity in the process of moving forward with buyers, because the process is overwhelming and there's a ton of moving parts. If you guys prep the buyer for what's to come, you're going to have a smoother journey, a smoother process. And when you run into issues, you could always report back and say, well, we've talked about this. This is how the process goes. If we run into issues, we're going to solve them and keep moving forward. Access and negotiation power, off-market opportunities, and the skill to negotiate a winning offer. This is more along the lines of, hey, if we get to the point where we can't find a house, let me try to get one off market because the inventory you want doesn't exist. That takes a skill set. That takes doing extra work. That takes the art form of discussing how to get off-market properties. And we're not going to dive into that right now. A better outcome is more money saved, less stress, and a home they actually love. Another example, let's say Tevin started talking to a lead today. He doesn't bring a presentation. He maybe meets the buyer at one property, and he doesn't convince that buyer to write an offer at that time, and that buyer is just beginning the journey. Do you think that buyer is going to sign a BBRA with Tevin right now and on a handshake? Or do you think that buyer might say, hey, let me think about it and go talk to some other agents and then potentially lose the buyer? A lot of the outcomes are the buyer's just starting to look. The journey is very early, and they're probably going to bounce around from house to agent. What you're trying to do is be proactive and lock that buyer in now before they start searching with other people. And this presentation, this pamphlet, this when you hand it off to somebody with a business card and tell them, I'm the right guy to work with, it's going to help you convert that buyer. So these are all little tactics that when you guys print these off, put them in your car or keep them in your office, whenever you're going to meet with somebody, you're going to want to be able to present this quickly with confidence. Now, this is where things get changes. This changes everything. The consultation is the single biggest leverage point in your business. It determines who controls the deal, and the agent who controls the deal wins. Now, without a consultation, buyers control you and your schedule. You chase homes instead of leading strategy. You compete on the same level as every other agent. You lose deals to confusion and indecision. With the consultation, you control the process and you set the pace. You establish the expectations before problems arise. You eliminate confusion and competing loyalties. You dramatically increase your conversion rate. The consultation determines who wins the deal, not the showing. Let me give you a quick, hold on one sec. I just got to take this. Hey, Jose. You should be able to just push it open. Yep. No. Okay, no problem. Bye. Okay, so I wanted to throw this other example out to you guys. How many real estate agents go on a listing presentation with a seller? Do they bring a presentation with them or do they not? So if I go on a listing presentation, you better believe I'm going to have my marketing, I'm going to have my advertising, I'm going to have my comps, I'm going to have a folder, I'm going to showcase my talents. How does Zillow Showcase work? How do I work with the seller? What does the offer, negotiations, and contract to close look like? How do we prepare for photos? If you go on a listing presentation, you would have all that information. But when we go on buyer consultations, people don't bring anything. Why is that? It's no different. If you're meeting with the client, whether it's a buyer or seller, you should have your presentation. And I've been saying that for years. Like, you'll go on a listing presentation and bring stuff, but you won't do it for a buyer. That doesn't make sense. You should be armed for both. Buyers need your leadership. Most buyers walk into this process far less knowledge than they think they have. They're making one of the largest financial decisions of their lives without a roadmap. Like, that's crazy. That's where you guys come in. How do you win in a multiple offer situation? Most buyers have no idea how competitive situations work or what levers they can pull to come out on top. You guys need to know how to negotiate multiple offers and what homes to look for. You know, these are scenarios where if the inventory is up or the inventory is down, how do you negotiate the best offers for your clients? So knowing inventory is always a big factor. What to look for in homes: cosmetic versus structural issues, neighborhood red flags, and resale value are things most buyers overlook entirely. So when people are buying homes, make sure you run comps. You know the values of the properties from a high to a medium to a low point, and then do a 1 mile radius search and find out what's going into the communities. Then look at days on market, then look at all the other comps that are around to find out, is this a buyer's market or a seller's market where these buyers are looking. Buyers have no idea how financing really works, pre-approvals, rate lock, contingencies. Buyers are often flying blind on financing details that can make or break a deal. Ran into a lot of issues over the years where not only our agents, but other agents at other companies, I would say, hey, what's going on with the loan? Are they pre-approved? Did they run DU? Did they pull their taxes? Did they look at bank statements? Do you know their FICO scores? And I'd have agents, they would say to me, they go, I'm not the lender, so I don't know that information. That's the craziest thing you would want to ever say. Don't ever say that, especially in front of me. You should know exactly what's going on with the buyer's pre-approval and their financing, and speaking to the lender to get all the details on status. You don't just get an offer accepted, send it over to the lender, and just hope that the lender's doing their job. You're supposed to guide the lender. You're supposed to guide the buyer. And if you're submitting an offer to a listing agent, you better be able to jump on the phone with the listing agent and say, my buyer's qualified. I've talked to the lender. The lender has assured me their credit's over 700. You don't have to give out like super personal information, but you have to like justify that the buyer knows, like the buyer's solid. I need to know the buyer's solid. So you have to help your client with the loan, and you should know what the financing details look like. And don't be scared to bring your lender into the conversations or set up conversations in the office or over the phone. Be part of that financing process, and you'll learn more. You'll be sharper. You'll understand if there's any red flags that you need to get fixed up before you go in the contract. How to negotiate properly. Without guidance, with buyers negotiate emotionally, and emotional decisions cost them money or the home itself. Everybody buying and selling a home, I don't care how cool they are or how knowledgeable they are or how many homes they've sold, everybody gets super duper emotional. Some people lash out. Some people lie, cheat, steal, try to renegotiate. Somebody might be yelling at you for a half hour on the phone. Your goal is to stay as cool as the other side of the pillow. I acknowledge your problem, ma'am. I acknowledge that you're upset. I sympathize with your situation. I know what the next step is. Please trust my judgment and let me guide you through the next steps. You guys don't ever get as emotional as they do. Don't yell back. Don't get flustered. Don't hang up. Your job is to stay professional the entire time. The delivery is where agents win or lose. So you can have the best you could have the best slides in the world and still lose the client. The way you deliver the consultation, your pace, your confidence, and your ability to make it feel like a conversation is going to be everything. So don't do this. Don't read the slides like I'm doing right now, verbatim, because nothing kills credibility faster than an agent who sounds like they're reading from a script. Your goal, I'll tell you, like a lot of these PowerPoints and presentations, you just pack up and present on the fly. You have to study this stuff. So people rush through. Speed signals nervousness. Slow down and let the content breathe. Sounding scripted. Buyers can feel when something is rehearsed versus when somebody truly knows their craft. So do this instead. Control the pace. You set the rhythm. You move through each section with calm and authority. Pause and explain. Let key points land. Silence is a power tool, not dead air. Ask questions and listen. Make it a dialogue, and more they talk, the more they trust you. So right before presenting any of these presentations, whether you're on a listing or you're on a buyer consultation, remember what the key points were that the buyers or sellers were talking about before you present. Because this is a very robust presentation and it has a lot of information, but not always is everything important to that buyer or seller. There's probably 2 to 3 sections of each presentation that a buyer or seller really wants to know about. And that's where you want to kind of hone in and say, listen, I know you were really, really talking about looking for the best agent that can negotiate you the best deal in today's market. I have a section within my presentation that I want to show you. That doesn't sound scripted. You're not rushing through and you're not reading slides. And then you go to that particular section and say, listen, this is how I negotiate. This is why I put it in my presentation. And I want to take a few minutes to go through this with you. Does that sound good? Oh, Aaron, that sounds great. Like, yeah, I was really wondering how we negotiate deals. Great. Let's go through this particular portion of the presentation. So some of you guys will present 100% of it, 50% of it, 25% of it, or zero. Just handing the presentation off to somebody and say, read this on your own time. That's also powerful as well. So the structure I want you guys to follow every time is to set the expectations, show the process, solve the problems, differentiate yourself between other agents and value, and then close the deal. Define the next steps clearly and confidently. A great consultation with a committed buyer, not a we'll think about it. At which point you're going to be thinking to yourself, should I have this client sign a BBRA and accept my presentation and move forward? This is not going to be a situation where you're going to see every buyer sign a BBRA with you, but your percentage of getting a BBRA signed at this point with a presentation is dramatically going to increase. It's not going to be 100%. Nothing's 100% in the real estate game, but this will help you get BBRA signed quicker. And then you have these steps to really, close the deal with these buyers when you're meeting with them. And a lot of this is going to roll over into how you do your listing presentation. And I'm going to do a listing presentation meeting, I think next week, and we'll let you know. I just finished off all the assets and design, and I'm putting it in the Agent Edge coaching. And then I'm going to do a workshop like this for you. So the slides that support you, you are the star. We're going to do the support message. We're going to do the visual process, and then we're going to reinforce your expertise. So we're going to go through this process together right now, guys. It's going to be fun. And let me jump to how to control the room. So not a lot of you guys are bringing your clients into the office, but you're physically meeting them at properties. So we're going to have to kind of think through how do you present this during that stage. We got to master this environment for the conversation. So sit next to them, not across from them. So if you can, and you're at a table at a house, sitting across from the table signals a sales transaction. Sitting beside them or screen sharing side by side signals a partnership. You're on the same team working toward their goal. And I've done this. I've done it with buyers and sellers in the past. And I've seen the difference between sitting across from somebody or sitting next to them. It makes a big impact. Slow down your delivery. Rushing communicates anxiety. A deliberate, measured pace communicates mastery. Pause after key points. Let the silence do the work. Even stop and say, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you have any questions? Right? And then ask questions throughout the presentation to keep the buyers engaged for critical information. Check in frequently. Does that make sense? Or have you experienced that before? And confirm understanding before moving on. A lot of agents just rush in the beginning part of conversion or conversations. The time to go really slow and methodical is on the phone when you're trying to convert the lead. Meeting at the house, nice and slow. At an open house, nice and slow. Sphere of influence, you're first starting to talk to a friend or a family member. Slow down. If you do an hour consultation on the phone or in front of people, that's a good consultation. You try to do it in 10 minutes and just get some information and leave, you're never going to earn that trust and you're not really providing value. You should be opening up the conversations. Why are you buying? What's changing in your life? Do you currently own? Do you currently rent? Have you thought about buying? How long have you been thinking about it? What have you been looking for? Are you working? Are you moving? Have you bought or sold homes before? Is your wife going to be part of this transaction? Have you talked about financing? Has anybody explained what the market is doing right now? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Do you have money in the bank? Did you know that there's loan programs out there where you can get down payment assistance? Do you know that sellers are paying 3% towards closing costs? Do you know that the days on market have increased significantly over the last 6 months and why that's a benefit for you? I said that all in about 1 or 2 minutes, but if I unpacked each of those questions, I would be talking to a buyer for an hour to get all the information from them and me to give them trust that I know what I'm doing. So the execution starts today. The new standard from this point forward, every buyer relationship begins the same way with the consultation, no exceptions, no shortcuts. I want you guys to be the leaders in the buyer consultation world. And I want you to train other agents and train buyers on how great of an agent you are. Every buyer equals a consultation first. No consultation, no showings. This is not a suggestion. It is a professional standard that protects your time, your energy, and your client's outcome. While this rule exists, skipping the consultation doesn't save time. It costs you time. It's literally opposite. Agents who show homes to unprepared buyers spend weeks chasing deals that fall apart. Weeks. If you don't set it up for success at the beginning, you're going to go nuts showing homes, writing offers, putting a deal together just to come find out that it's going to cancel on you. The consultation pre-qualifies the relationship and it sets you up to win before you show a home. Buyers who are educated commit faster, expectations are set, surprises disappear, and you spend time on clients ready to move. I can't tell you how many people just get so excited, how many agents get really, 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 really excited that a buyer wants to work with them. And I get it. Like, it's hard to find buyers. And when you do, you just want to go, go, go. How quickly can I get them under contract? But if you skip these steps, then you're going to find yourself really in a bad situation. You didn't do the pre-approval right. You didn't set the expectations accordingly. You didn't know exactly what they were looking for. You show 30 homes, you write an offer, you put it under contract, and then they go, you know what? I don't even like Las Vegas. I'm moving to another side of town, and I don't want to work with you because this was just a bad time. That stuff happens a lot to a lot of our agents. All right, this is how you become the best and the most consistent. Don't skip any steps. Don't wing it. And then follow this process every single time, guys. We're just going to beat that into you. We're going to make sure you're doing it. We're going to help you get prepared. So let's walk through it. Now that we have the framework to execute, let's watch closely, pay attention, and let's go through the slide deck. We'll look at pausing, pacing, the transitions. Then we're going to share the buyer consultation, show you exactly what to say. We're going to go slide by slide, and then we're show you how to position everything. All right, so let's get ready to go there. I'm going to jump into Agent Edge coaching. So I was talking to you guys yesterday in the sales meeting, and I said Element is no more. It's gone. We took Element, we revamped it, we spent a lot of time, money, and energy in it. So what you're going to see, first and foremost, this is the new login screen. Go ahead and log in with the same credentials that you guys had before. You'll go right into the Agent Edge coaching site, and then you're going to see that we have the help directory here. So if you type in buyer consultation, we'll do it right now. This is how we access it. Buyer consultation in real time. Okay, so the search results are here. Everything just popped up. And this is basically win the buyer consultation right here. And we'll click on it. Actually, I back up. So when you type in buyer consultation, anything that comes up for buyers on the consultation, you're going to have all the assets right here. FYI, if you go to training and you went to Learning Pass and you went to launch, there is a whole module on working with buyers that's in here. So we have Win the Buyer Consultation. This is a course. You can come in here. There's a toolkit. There's an example here of what it's about. And then there's a preview video. Once you start the course, everything for working with buyers is going to be right here. And then it's going to have a quiz for you. And then we're dropping in the link to the consultation package here too. So whether you're just trying to find it quickly, or if you want to take a course to get really clear on working with buyers and then download the presentation, you're going to have those two options. The quick option that I just showed you, because some of you guys have been through that course, is just come in here. You see the consultation. You hit read more. That bad boy is going to pop up and you're going to have access to it. And then here's the template link. This template link is going to bring you to Canva, and that's where you're going to be able to edit it and make it your own. Then when you download it, I would like you guys to print it as a 8.5 by 14 legal. So once you take the presentation, you put your photo and your phone number in it, then you're going to save the PDF. You can send it over to Tyler at Landmark Meadows and just say, hey, I want this printed at 8.5 by 14 and do a spiral bound on the left-hand side. When he delivers it to you, it's like this beautiful booklet that you just give to your clients, and they're not that expensive, but they are a showstopper. So when you click the link, it's going to bring you right here to Canva, and then you're going to see the presentation itself. So we got about 20 minutes. What I want to do is go through the presentation, see if you guys have any questions at the end, and then we'll look at the Canva link again to show you exactly how it looks when you need to edit it yourself. So here's the consultation cover. It's got a Leslie Realty Group. Everything's branded to us. Everything is editable on here. The first thing we want to do is showcase, why would you work with us? Well, we're one of the top ranked teams on Zillow. We have over 20 years experience, and we've distilled everything into a proven process. So you guys can you can edit this, or you can piggyback all the transactions that we've closed. I say piggyback it. You work with Aaron Alessi at a brokerage that's closed 4,000 transactions. They're our partner. And then you put your photo in here with your information. And that way it makes you look like you have the authority that you've closed thousands of transactions, whether you only done 1 or 20. Now we want to talk about the outcome. When you buy a home, there's 3 things: the price, the best deal, and an amazing experience. That's what everybody's looking for. That's how you describe this. So when I'm talking through this presentation right now, I'm doing it a little bit as the owner doing a training, but I'm also going to kind of quickly go through it as if I was talking to a client. Next, how do we get you there? Okay, Mr. Buyer, we have to set up financing. So we're going to set you up for success before you start looking. Once we know the financing, we know your affordability. Affordability means let's go find you the right home. We're going to access selection strategic showings. Then, as soon as we find the right home, it's time to negotiate. I have to write an offer, negotiate the best deal for you, and then get it approved and get you in contract. And that entire process is going to be done with professionalism. This is the white glove service, contract to keys, that me as your agent, I'm going to provide to you. Now, financing. The financing problem. Most agents say the lender handles the lending, and that's a red flag, Mr. Buyer. The wrong loan can cost you $10,000 to $30,000 in higher rates and higher fees and restricted future options. So what I'm going to do as your agent is I'm going to connect you with the best lender. And if you have lenders, I want to be part of the conversation so that I make sure that your lender is getting you the best deal so that you don't lose $30,000. That's what I bring to the table, and that's how I'm going to help you. Now, Mr. Buyer, why does the financing matter? Well, the loan affects the homes you can afford, how strong the offer looks to the seller, your monthly payment, and your long-term costs. Also, future on flexibility, refinancing, investing, and upgrading. And these are long-term. This is a purchase you're not just going to have for a month or two. This is a long-term investment. I need to make sure you're in the right loan, doing the right things. So in the event you do need to refinance or sell or upgrade, I want to be there with you for your future transactions, but set you up for success right now. Now let's talk about 30 years of our combined experience in thousands of transactions. The Alessi Financing Solution. We explore all your options. We got the big box guys, and then we got the brokers, and then we got your average local lender. We have VA, FHA, USDA, conventional, 203, bank statement loans, down payment assistance. You got a lot of options that we have to work through, and I'm going to help you figure that out. Then we're going to audit your loan estimate. So if we have 2 or 3 lenders you're working with, let's negotiate between them. Let's put those 3 loan estimates in front of those 3 different lenders, and let's find you the best rates, find you the best terms, find you the best deal possible. So I'm going to compare those loan estimates side by side with you, negotiate with your lender, and identify if you're being overcharged. That's what I bring to the table. That's what I do for my clients. Now, fully approved, not just pre-qualified. When you get a TBD address approval, and we talk about this in our sales meeting with Jennifer, a pre-approval means they ran credit and we think we got a loan. A fully approved, full documentation, direct underwriting, complete, and we only need an address means the lender has looked at everything and we have a full-on approval where we just need an offer accepted and we're going right into the underwriting and closing process. When you get your buyer approved up front, you could usually close a loan within 14 to 20 days. And that's what I do for my clients. So if you also do that up front with the lender and the buyer, it's going to make our offers look much stronger when we present them to a listing agent. Capiche? Capiche. Now that we have the financing wrapped up, Mr. Buyer, let's find you the right home. Usually the problem, we see dozens of homes get exhausted and then settle, or miss the best homes to swarm of other buyers, and then generic agents set up MLS alerts and wait. Okay, so this is basically the problem. We look at too many homes, we get exhausted, we're fighting against other buyers, or you just set an MLS search and walk away. That's not what we do. That's the problem. For us, what we want to do is source the properties first. So we look at pre-market listings. We go through our investor network, which is basically Follow Up Boss and the office, and then agent network, any agents that you know that we have listings with. So the advantage, we want to know what's coming to the MLS. We want to look at what properties have recently been flipped that you can't find anywhere else, or the MLS and the deep transaction relationships that we have with our agents. This is more just saying, I'm going to try to be proactive in trying to find you a home. Okay. Now we want to find the right fit. We understand the full picture. Your budget and financing, you got to make sure you have that dialed. What schools and what commute? That means what area of town? Are we talking Summerlin or Henderson? What type of lifestyle and amenities do you want? And what are your long-term goals? So neighborhood expertise. We work daily in these areas. We know the hidden gems and the areas to avoid. So now you're just talking about, I know the local inventory. I know the communities. I know where we should be working and where we shouldn't to avoid problems. Showings that are strategic and not random. Showing the right homes at the right time with the right price. We're going to elevate your tour. We're going to look at the condition, the plumbing, the electrical. We're going to look at potential problems before they become your problems, and the neighborhood factors. The result, we're going to find the right home faster without seeing 30 plus wrong houses. Now you're making your client really confident that you're going to be scrubbing the MLS. You're going to be able to connect the affordability to the type of property, and you're going to search for homes that might be outside their price range that you can negotiate a deal with because it's been on the market for a while. So you're kind of getting into this, I'm looking for homes and I know how to do it. Why are negotiations going to be a potential problem? In a competitive market, weak offers lose. Inexperienced agents either cave on everything because it costs you money, or they blow up the deal and cost you the home. So we're not going to do that. We're going to negotiate like champs on your behalf. Your financing becomes a weapon. So let's get back to this TBD approval and it'll make your offer feel like cash. So this is trying to get the buyers, if they're kind of sitting on the fence about getting pre-approved or submitting their docs to the lender, you got to say in a multiple offer situation, or just trying to write a strong offer, if you're TBD approved, your offer will feel like cash. We're gonna analyze recent sales in the area, current buyer activity, property condition and value, components that win, healthy earnest money deposit, a shorter inspection period, a quick close time frame, and strong pre-approval documentation. Those are the components that help you make a really, really strong offer that you can get approved quickly without a lot of headaches, especially in a multiple offer situation. Now, we're expert negotiators, right? So post-inspection strategy, we want to talk about credits versus repairs, because sellers usually prefer to do credits. We don't want to do repairs at a property if I'm a seller. What if I do all these repairs and the buyer gets hit by a car and doesn't buy the house? When you're negotiating anything on the inspection, lean towards getting a credit. Big picture thinking, don't sweat the small stuff. Poker face during inspections. Navigate counteroffers without emotional decisions. The result, best deal, right price, right concessions, right terms. So once we're in contract and that inspection's coming over and the buyer's starting to lose their mind, poker face, credits, move the deal forward. You're planting these seeds early on in the consultation. Now, the professionalism, the problem, the number one complaint about agents is poor communication. People feel lost. They don't know what's happening, and then things fall through the cracks. Sir, I promise you, as your agent, I will never let you down. I will over communicate and I will be proactive on all the steps that we're supposed to be taking to find you your dream home. And when you say that, you guys better do that. You better manage those clients' expectations at that point and going forward. Now we want to talk about the fun stuff, transaction management. So we have a dedicated support staff that coordinates inspection scheduling, appraisal coordination, title search, insurance, closing timeline. We have trusted partners, title and escrow, that's Landmark Meadows. We have a lender, Jennifer Alessi with Clear Modern Mortgage. We have inspections with Greg Platt for home inspections. So once we get your offer accepted, my transaction management team, our title company, our home inspectors, all of us are going to be here to help you through each part of the contract to close process. And these are all proven partners that I've worked with over many years to make sure you're getting a seamless buying experience. With that said, we're going to talk about the communication. You'll know before you have to ask. So this is like a timeline and milestone. This is the 30-day escrow process. So when we're 4 weeks out, we need to be finalizing our mortgage and schedule inspection. When we're 3 weeks out, we're going to have the appraisal and the title search done. When we're 2 weeks out, we're going to have the home warranty and the insurance and the utilities talked about. And then 1 week out, we're going to have the final walkthrough, closing preparation, and then closing day, you're going to have keys in hand. How exciting is that? So this is the process. It takes 30 days to get your contract from accepted to close. And I'm going to walk you through that process. Now, don't believe me. Check out our track record. You can simply go online and look at our Zillow Premier agent page. We have over 4,000 homes sold. These are verified closed transactions, proven client success, and recognition as the best of the best. So you know you're with the right brokerage. You know you're with the right team, and you know you're with the right agent. So you guys can go in here and edit this and drop links in and even put your Zillow Premier profile on there. That's all you're going to need to do. Zillow is the #1 company for everything real estate related when it comes to consumers. Then we want to talk about the journey. We're going to get started, find the home, make it yours, contract to close, and welcome home. So this is really like throwing those milestones back at everybody. And then we want to make sure that you're understanding the goals. So at this point, when we're talking about the journey, you could point out a few of these and say, is there anything through this journey right now that you're worried about or you want to pay more attention to? Or do you have a question I can talk about? And anything from the walkthrough all the way up to getting pre-approved. Let's talk about it a little bit. So you got this beautiful journey that starts. Why Alessi Realty? Again, all editable stuff. It could be, why Ed Reedy? Well, most agents, right? Lending isn't my job. Alessi Realty Group, we guide your financing strategy. Now we're kind of going back and reiterating what we've talked about. MLS alerts and wait, forget that noise. We pre-market access. We have an agent network. We source listings for you. If you want to go on Zillow, fine, but I'm going to be going hard at work finding you the right property. A lot of agents write generic offers, don't know how to negotiate. We do. Strategic, powerful offers. Most agents are reactive. We're proactive. Most agents just do transactions and move on. I want to build relationships. I want to make sure you're happy. And I'd love to get a review and a referral from you in the future. That's why it's important for me to go through all this information with you. Now, let's do a quick recap. This is what we got to do. We got to get you fully approved. We got to find you the right home. We got to negotiate the best deal for you. And I'm going to give you a very professional, trusted partnership throughout that entire process. If you're ready to get started, let's make it official. Secure your representation. This is where you guys would want to bring in your BBRA and bring in your duties owed. Then you say, do you want me to connect you with a lender? Hey, Jennifer, come over here and meet my client. Another option is, are you working with Rocket Mortgage? Let me make a phone call and let's start getting strategic on how we're operating with finding a lender. Then let's start your home search. I'm going to take notes down right now about everything that you need, and I'm going to go to work finding you the right home, setting you up in the MLS, and sending live listings over to you to start looking at. With that being said, let's find you the best home. Here's all my information. And then I believe, let me go back. This will have, let's find you the right home. And you're going to describe how that works. MLS alerts, sending the listings, and then showing the home, and then writing the offer. And then we put an appendix in here in case they want to flip through and look at what key terms are. What's an appraisal? What's closing costs? What's a contingency? What's earnest money deposit? What's escrow? These are the type of loans. Not a lot of people understand what type of loans and what the down payment is, plus the minimum credit score. This is very helpful sitting in front of your client to say, let's look at some of these loan types. And then boom, you got your dog and you got your people and you're good to go. So that's the presentation, how it looks. And you could do that cool slideshow right out of Canva like this. And then when you click the template link, boom, it's going to bring you here to Canva. You're going to hit view template, open an editor, and boom, right here, you can go in and you can change and update any of these. When you're done, you go up to the top and you hit share. You can download it as a PDF and send it to Tyler to print, or you can do a public link. There's many different ways, and you can download it as a slideshow, and you can send that out as a text through Follow Up Boss and like copy, paste. You can put it on an iPad, use it at the consultation in front of somebody at their house. You can use it at open houses. You can certainly use it here at the office. So that is the presentation. That's how you get access to it. That's how you can download it and make it your own. I would recommend everybody on this call build this out today. You only have to change a couple things, download it, and then have Tyler print off 5 of them and say to yourself, I have 5 of these presentations that I have to present to 5 buyers one way or another to get 5 buyers to work with me so I can get 5 commission checks. Let this be something that like puts a little fire under your ass to get going, get it printed. You look at the part, you have the business cards, you have a presentation. Now we got to get on the phones. We got to have conversations. We got to talk to open house people, and we got to get these presentations out there. And they're going to be great, and it's going to give you that confidence. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into the chat, see if I missed anything. Nope, not yet. If you guys want to go ahead, let's jump into Q&A. Go ahead and unmute yourself and ask any questions that you have.
Question.
Well, I kind of have a scenario. So in your experience, I mean, right now it's hard for people to get the signed BBRA. But if we bring that and then we show them our beautiful, value presentation, even if we don't go through it completely, like you said, what do you think the chances are at that point for them to sign and feel comfortable with that?
I think they're going to feel much more confident.
Because it's not a scam.
It's not like you're a used car salesperson. You just did this beautiful consultation. You've laid out all the value and all the legwork that you're going to do. If somebody doesn't want to sign that BBR right then, I'd be a little surprised. I think they're probably not so serious yet. But I would certainly give that to them to take home and say, not a problem. I'll still send you the listing alerts. I'm going to work for you. When you feel more comfortable about signing the duties owed in the BBRA with me, that's not a problem. We can do it. But by law, I'm going to need this for my documentation in order to work with you in the future. But I'll get started now. So that's like your worst case scenario versus are you ready to proceed? And that's why I kind of dropped it in there was, if you're ready to go, let's just sign the docs right now. All right, you guys are at home. Do you have any questions you want to go over? We got time.
Yeah, when do you introduce the commission
I'm
conversation?
sorry, Art, hold on 1 second. The volume's a little low. I can't hear him. You can't hear me. Yeah, I was talking. Put it as the, All right, Art, go ahead.
Yeah, when do you introduce the commission conversation? Where in that presentation does it you get
Hold
to
on, for some
start
reason I
talking about
can't
it?
hear you really well. David Ornelius, take yourself off mute and see if we can hear you. I don't know if it's an art issue
Hello,
or an
hello.
office.
Can you hear me?
Nah, it's super low.
Yeah.
Hold
Hello,
on one
hello?
sec.
Oh.
Okay. All right, Art, go ahead. I got you now.
No, during the presentation, when do you introduce the conversation with regards to commissions?
During the BBRA,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so when you do the duties owed and then you pick up that buyer brokerage agreement, you're gonna want to start talking about commissions at that point. And the commission conversation has been and always will be, listen, I'm gonna ask the seller to pay a 3% commission. That's how I get paid. The seller pays it, you don't. In the event that the seller doesn't want to pay a full 3%, then I'll negotiate with the seller to find out if we can do it at the right price. Our worst case scenario is maybe you have to lean in as the buyer and pay something towards commissions, but that generally never happens. So our goal today
Mm-hmm.
is to make sure you understand. I'm going to show you homes. I'm working for a 3% commission. It's still going to be negotiable in the future. You can trust me. And by the way, on these BBRAs, at any given point, you're not comfortable working with me, you can void this by sending me an email. So that kind of gives them a lot of trust, and it gives you the authority that, you're working hard and you're trying to get paid, but we're not going to sacrifice or kill a deal because I'm not getting paid, right? I'm going to make sure you're going to get the right home at the right price, and everything's negotiable. So that's how you want to chop it up at that point. It's a good question, Art. Jessica, David, Tevin, Raquel, got a bunch of agents. Any questions, guys?
No questions.
Okay, so you guys go ahead, log into Agent Edge Coaching, download, get into Canva, make these, and then send them out for print. And then when you get them, send us a picture or come in the office or drop it in Slack. I want to see you guys prepare this stuff. And then I'm going to drop the best world-class listing presentation you've ever seen in our upcoming meeting. I might have to carve out like an hour and a half to 2 hours maybe to present it because it's a lot. But it's a lot of good stuff. It's going to be less of a presentation and more of a training in the thought process behind it. So when you go on a listing appointment, you're just going to absolutely murder it. So that'll be a fun one, and we'll try to get more of you guys in the office when I do that presentation. But I hope you found a lot of value and you can see what our worth is to you guys to make sure you're armed and ready to go. So have a great day. We'll chat with you later.
Awesome. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you. Stop share and meeting.